Did you see last night another case of horrendous refereeing? Now, this wasn't English referees this time. I'm not too sure who the ref was. I'm pretty sure English referees don't referee Scotland games. But did you see Scott McTominay's goal get disallowed?
I did not see it. Actually, you know what? I just don't watch international football.
Bruv.
Just don't.
Bruv. Let me explain it. I can't show it because of copyright. Let me explain it. Do you remember Tony Kroos's free kick?
Let me go see it as you speak on it. McTominay goal?
Go watch. The free kick from McTominay is out of this world. He shouldn't be able to do it. It's that good. And as you see when he does it, there is a Scotland player who looks like he might be offside, and he slightly nudges the goalkeeper. Okay. However, the goal's given in real time. No Spain players moan. The goalkeeper doesn't moan. Nobody on the bench of Spain moans. The commentators, no one's even talking about it being given away. Then VAR get involved. And VAR initially rule the goal out for a foul. They say it's too much of a push on the goalkeeper. He wouldn't have saved it anyway, but they give it as a foul. That isn't the controversy. That is controversial. The controversy is, now when you listen to this, it's crazy. 20 minutes later, they updated and told the commentators, because the commentary teams have a direct link to the VAR. They changed their mind after 20 minutes and said, actually, we've decided we're going to disallow it for offside. And so far, there is no conclusive evidence. We've not seen the lines that it was offside. So right now, there is a debate happening. Did they give it as a foul or did they give it as offside? This is as bad, in my opinion, as the lack of transparency and decision-making that led to Liverpool's mistake, that led to the Kovacic mistake at the weekend. And these are all variants. And I know we had a big debate last week about some being objective and some being subjective. We heard Howard Webb from his own mouth, which is to why I had the video that I titled, "We Cheated Arsenal," in quotations. I've added a question mark to it now, just so people don't get triggered. But he literally said in that the reason that Kovacic didn't get a second yellow is because the referee didn't want to ruin the game. So in your match, they wouldn't break the procedures to give you a goal. In the Arsenal game, they broke the procedures to keep 11v11. And last night, when it comes to referees and VAR, we have no clue what they did because they've given it as a foul and an offside, but not shown any evidence of either, in my personal opinion, because I can't see it as a foul, and we haven't seen the lines drawn to know it's offside. VAR was something I advocated massively when it first came in. Genuinely. Now, this thing, I've got to say it, it's killing football. And I understand why people say there is potentially corruption behind this, because it almost felt like, oh no, Spain might lose here. Let's see if we can find a way to get rid of this goal. That's how it feels looking at it. That may not be the case, but when you think about decisions we've seen in recent weeks, I love that picture. It totally, to me, looks like, I don't even know what it looks like. It just looks horrendous as far as I'm concerned. Obviously, you've seen the goal now as well. Like,
I've just seen that. I've actually seen it from the angle from one of the United Twitter accounts. I've seen it from the angle from behind the keeper, where it's actually showing the entire clip. And I replayed it 3 times just to figure out where the fuck the foul is. I didn't even see a foul. I'm like, okay, so like, I just watched it 3 times. And I kept going back to the moment the goal happened. I'm like, okay, so where is the foul exactly? Like, why was this cancelled? It's getting to the point. Look, international football is something separate. I'm gonna push that to the side now to speak about the competition that we watch every week, and that is the English Premier League. I've seen what Howard Webb said, and I think it's pathetic. I don't give a shit about referees protecting their referee buddies on the football pitch. This is not what VAR was brought in for. I cannot blame a Ferrari because I can't drive a Ferrari. We need to stop blaming VAR as a system and start blaming referees who operate VAR. Offside decisions should be so obvious, and they can't even get that correct. You know why? Because they didn't want to implement Champions League technology. Me and you spoke after the Galatasaray game. We said there was no need to speculate. There was no need for us to sit up here and talk about referees. Why? Because it was made graphically. We saw exactly where Højlund was offside, and everyone just kept it stepping. You're like, okay, this part is offside, that part is offside, and that's it. We can't even implement a system that's already there. The Serie A implement that system, and the Serie A make not even 1/10 the money the Premier League makes. Second thing is, with refereeing decisions, with all due respect, if we're expecting 11 players on each side to deliver in high pressure moments, high pressure situations on the football pitch for our entertainment, then we should be expecting referees to be able to deliver in high pressure moments, high quality, important decisions. That's the ultimate reality. The reality is these referees in the big occasion always bottle the big decision. Kovacic's moment, the reason why it pissed me off more than anything, Kovacic's moment was Curtis Jones and Jota in the same moment. I'll tell you why. The first tackle, people were like, whoa, that's like Curtis Jones's tackle. Why hasn't been sent off? And the second tackle, you're like, wait a minute. Last week, you sent Jota off for 2 successive yellows. Those are obviously 2 successive yellows. Why is Kovacic on the pitch? Now we're sat here, nothing's happened. You know, the reason why people aren't moaning is because Arsenal won the game. Let's sit up here and address a realistic scenario. What if City won that game 1-0 with a Kovacic assist or a Kovacic goal? Then what are we sat here saying? Release the PGMOL releasing the Martial offside audio. What does that add value to me? Nothing.
Because everybody knew it was offside. Everybody knew it was offside. No one complained about it.
Everyone knew it. We all watched the game. We all knew it. They should release the Kovacic audio. I want to hear it. And this is where people come at us and go like, oh, Liverpool's victim, blah, blah, blah. Why aren't Arsenal escalating? Huh? Why aren't Arsenal asking the PGMOL to release the audio? Why is it like I'm just saying, because Arsenal, they apply pressure, and then the week after United apply pressure, and the week after this guy apply pressure, and then that's how we get these PGMOL people to actually start getting decisions right. Because no matter who you support, you could be supporting Spurs or Chelsea and absolutely can't stand Arsenal, and you know that Kovacic should have sent him off. Professor Hamza, who's the most shameless man on earth, even he admitted he's like Kovacic should have been sent off. So for me, I'm not sat here going like, oh my God, it's just Liverpool. I understand it's not just Liverpool. The VAR is crap for us all, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to sit up here and accept it. I'm not going to accept it. By the way, against Brighton, Pascal Gross should have been sent off. Clear goal scoring opportunity right in front of the goalkeeper. Doesn't get sent off.
Without a shadow, there was so many over the weekend. Bruno Guimaraes should have been sent off. There was a push in the back of a West Ham player by Isak that should have seen the goal disallowed, in my opinion, based on the fact against Tottenham, a very similar push happened and they disallowed a goal. And you know what's interesting? This is why I said to you last week, it's not about objective decisions versus subjective decisions. It's about the transparency of the process. Because Mike Dean has spoken about how he didn't give a red card for the violent conduct when Cucurella had his hair pulled. And he said, and his words were, I only had a few seconds to review the footage. But when you go back and watch it again, there was 1 minute and 10 seconds of review. So again, maybe when Mike Dean has spoken about this 6 months, a year later, your brain can do this. We all go through this. Sometimes we exaggerate stories. Sometimes we play them down. Sometimes you and your friend can be at a party and something happens. And 5 years later, you both tell the story again. And there's some differences because your memory's different. However, release the audio. We know for a fact it was looked at for 1 minute and 10 seconds. I want to know what was said and why it wasn't given. If they release that information live to us, this creates the precedence that we can hold and standards that we can hold everybody to. If, for instance, they say any push like that on a player leads to a goal being disallowed, and we hear them say it and we get their rationale, we as fans won't forget. They then use it as a precedent. Any push on the defender that leads to a goal, you then have to disallow. You can't allow some and not others. You can't send Jota off for 2 yellows and not Kovacic and give the reason as we didn't want to ruin the game. And that's
but you ruined the Spurs game then.
Bro, do you know the biggest part about it is
that's
fans?
The part.
I remember last year I did a video, went crazy viral when something happened in this North London derby, and somebody said, "No, you can't give reds. It's North London derby." And I hit the roof. I don't remember who said it now, but I hit the roof, and I was like, "Hang on, think about what you're saying. That a player A can get away with violent conduct or 2 yellows in a massive clash, but some poor sod who plays for Luton or who plays for Sheffield United in the same game against the same opponent would be sent off. If that's how you referee games, when you take the occasion into consideration, the whole integrity of the sport is dead. It means that there are certain games of the year where you can get away with worse fouls. That can never be the case. From the first whistle until the final whistle. And you see this in every game. First 10 minutes, how hard is it to get a yellow card? It's almost impossible. 11 minutes in, you definitely get booked. It's ridiculous. It means in those first 10 minutes, somebody can get away with a cynical shirt pull that they can't get away with on minute 11. It's all ridiculous. Referee the game by the law and be consistent with your application. And I know people say it's subjective. We all know it's subjective. But if we see 3 players get goals disallowed for a certain action and then player 4 doesn't, how do we as the fans remember, but the referees as a unit in a group that are all mic'd up to each other, can all hear each other, don't remember, actually, guys, we've already given the last 6 times this happened, we gave it as goals, we've got to give it. That's if we heard that conversation, we would never be challenging them for corruption. We would never be saying they're incompetent. We would go, look, they're trying to be fair. And at the end of the day, we remember those decisions as fans. They should remember those decisions. And the fact that they don't is why people are calling them out. And honestly, what they're doing in the game is horrendous.
Because if that was a Luton Town player on Declan Rice, 100% he's gets sent off. 100. By the way, let me make this clear. He gets sent off for the first tackle. Never mind them waiting the other 2. Because in their mind, it's Luton Town, you know. There is no like bad reaction from fans worldwide because no one supports Luton Town like that. Of course, with all due respect, I'm not saying it in a snobby way. I'm saying like as in Luton aren't a global club, you know. So because what I mean is there isn't like going to be fans upset and it's not going to be trending on Twitter if Luton get, something happens to Luton. So they probably would have sent him off for the first tackle. And you know, I remember last time you said, you know, keep the same energy, etc. I went back to a rant I had after City Fulham at the Etihad. Anyone who watched that game, Fulham were in that game. Akanji makes an attempt, clearly getting into the way of the Fulham goalkeeper, and the goal gets given. From then, I actually had a 10-minute rant, and I said, guys, this isn't about Manchester City. This is about the VAR and refereeing in the whole league. And now if you're telling me you didn't want to ruin a top 6 game, okay, Liverpool played Spurs. You gave Jota 2 consecutive yellows, of which the first one wasn't even deserving of a yellow to begin with. So where do we go from here? The problem is the consistency isn't there. So I can't, as a Liverpool fan, sit up here and act like, oh, Kovacic couldn't have been sent off because it would ruin the flow of the game. Okay, maybe if they didn't send off Jota, I would agree. Okay, fair enough. You're trying to keep the game going, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But you should referee the game by the rules, not by the occasion, not by it's Liverpool versus United, so I'm not trying to send someone off. So you're telling me if it's the 2nd minute and Bruno Fernandes punches Mo Salah in the face, he shouldn't get sent off because it's the first minute? Like, we have to sit up here and be realistic. And it's getting to the stage now where all fans of all clubs are just sat here going like, the refereeing decisions are simply atrocious in the league. They're actually atrocious. And there's nothing that we actually genuinely, and this is why I wish Arsenal actually escalated the situation and asked for the audio to be released, because that would have been the second one, the genuine second one, like in a week that's been released. And then there will be more pressure, because we can't sit up here and keep accepting statements and apologies and shit like that. And the fact that Howard Webb is coming out and saying, oh, it's because we didn't want to undermine. No, but it's not about undermining Michael Oliver. It's about sending the guy off if he deserves to get sent off. How about that smart idea? And that whole game changes. This isn't a City thing. This isn't a United thing, not a Liverpool thing, not an Arsenal thing. This is a refereeing thing that needs to be fixed in the whole league. And it's getting to the stage where it's just pathetic at this point. It's actually genuinely pathetic. Fuck that, man. Just bring in like the Italian refs or a German.
You know what's interesting about it, though? When people
and also, let me just say something quickly. Everyone in the Premier League pays the repercussions for their team failing. If Man United lose the next 3, 4, 5 games, Ten Hag will get sacked. If player X does not perform in the next 4, 5 games, he gets dropped. Like, it's just everyone pays. Us as content creators, if Liverpool lose the next 4 games, I'm going to have to come up here in front of 2,000 people and explain why the fuck Liverpool lost. Same with you and Man United. Everyone pays consequences except referees. Simon Hooper refereed directly a day after Fulham Chelsea. What are we doing here? Well, like, no repercussions whatsoever? It's insane.
Mate, I agree with you. And this is what I'd say about the whole thing, though. People always say subjectivity, though, Terry, versus objectivity. I don't think people understand the definition of those words and how the word subjectivity, when it comes to a red card tackle or violent conduct, it's too vague because it's ridiculous. Listen to this. I just want to read out this.